Welcome in everybody to In Your Element. I know we need an intro. I know, Wally. I know the face you're giving to me. You want an intro, and it is lackluster. I get it. No, you're muted. You're muted.
Ah, yeah. I said it's the most anticlimactic intro ever.
It is. It's pathetic. I know. I'm fully aware of the situation.
What's up, everybody?
But we're here. We're here for this is episode 3, I think. And
This week, I know that.
yeah, there you go. We have some interesting topics to get into. Both of us just kind of what's kind of top of mind. So I've got some stuff coming up that made me think about things to help you get in your element in high pressure situations. So maybe it's easy to do what you love when no one's watching, but when you start to actually take what you love and perform or do it in front of an audience, sometimes things can go awry or stuff can come up. So I wanted to talk about that. And then Wally, you had something come up that you wanted to cover.
Yeah, today just basically vibing out to music. So you're a big music person. You probably apply this to every free second of your life. But for me, it's just kind of sporadic when I'm not listening to podcasts or, I wasn't really feeling the podcast today. So I just put the headphones on and jammed out. So hopefully you can give me some insight as to why that was so successful, at least for the beginning part of the day.
I am so sensitive to music. In fact, I was just saying this. We went to in Napa, my bestie and I, she owns a restaurant. So we went to like a food expo and there's music on the background. I'm like, oh, this is the Alex Warren song, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, this is this song. And I looked at her, I go, do you think anybody else, all the thousands of people here have any idea there's music on? And am I the only one that's like pointing out every song and like paying attention to that?
So I'm the worst at that game. I think it was Corey and Chase were playing, who sings this song and what's the name of it when we're driving these tournaments or whatever. And I had absolutely no idea that any of them. I know the songs. I might even have one of them as my ringtone. And I couldn't tell you who sings it, what the lyrics are, nothing about it. And I'm so bad at it. I don't know why my brain doesn't process it, but I know there's those game shows where people can name that tune in like 2 notes or something like that. Mm-hmm. I could not name the tune in 2.5 minutes. So I'm the worst at that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I always wonder too if it's just because I did musical theater my whole childhood. So my job at that point was to memorize lyrics and lines. So I don't know if I just became used. I think I always say that's why I'm equal parts music and movie lines. I'm like, was I just training myself to be like that?
Now, movie lines, I'm entirely different. I can tell you everything you need to know about movie lines for sure.
Yeah.
90% of my life is quotes.
But you mentioned that, part of what you did as a kid when you knew that you wanted to be kind of a performer was you would listen to those kinds of things and rehearse them so maybe that's why. And then for me, I coupled that with music because I had to memorize songs, tons of songs. So I don't know. That could be it. But anyways, if you're here with us, say hello in the comments. And then share this and let everybody know we're live. That would be great. And if you haven't subscribed,
you had 200 viewers until that intro, and then the countdown.
That was it. They're like, we're out. That was awful. Can't stand for this mediocrity.
Let me hit the share button as well. Let's get some people in here.
Okay, sounds good. Well, the music thing is super effective. It used to be, going back to the earlier cornhole seasons, you could wear your headphones on broadcast courts and things like that. And I'm sure that was extremely helpful for people to get into the zone, locked into the flow state. They took it away. You can't do it on the broadcast court. And that really does help the game because then you're not just in tunnel vision, but you're talking about doing it at your job when other people aren't needing you. And so it does just that, right? It creates that tunnel vision where it's just you and the song and you're just in the energy of that song. So are you going to play like sappy, sad, depressing music? No, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, let me kind of paint the picture of the environment and why it happened. So the boss is in town. He lives in Florida. He doesn't come in town very often. So when he's there, he wants to get everything done, which means he's bouncing office to office. There's a lot of commotion going around. Luckily, he didn't have anything for me yet. So I had a lot that I needed to do to get done. I just put the headphones on to kind of drown out the outside noise. And then next thing I know, I just started kind of like typing on the keyboard to the beat a little bit, just clicking. And it was definitely some upbeat music that I was listening to. No country. Don't have to worry about that. good going for me. So, yeah, I was in the zone. It was just kind of nice, but it was more to like drown out the environment, and then somehow through playing it, again, I couldn't tell you what I was listening to, who it was, anything like that. It was just the rhythm got me
Yeah,
going.
it's the easiest way to shift your state. If you're not in the best mood or you're really tired, but you have to get work done, put on an upbeat song, put on a song that you love to sing to, love to dance to, and it'll immediately shift your mood. There's some songs that you'll say like you can't be mad and listen to this, like it's impossible. It's just too. That's why I love Afrobeats. Afrobeats is such a happy music, but unlike reggae is more like you're relaxing by the pool and it's got its own vibe, but Afrobeats takes more on the hip hop lane. So it's more upbeat than reggae, and it's still got that, it's a lot of the artists are from Nigeria, and it's like that. You can like picture how that kind of dancing would be like really energetic.
The very first song that came to my mind was "Don't Worry."
That is not Afrobeats.
I know. First song, and then you're like, "Reggae." Like, yeah, it worked out.
But
Meesh.
that song I used to make my mom play like every day on the way to school. So I got its use. Don't worry, be happy. Whereas my son Rome only wants to listen to Alex Warren over and over and over and over. So that's what's always going in my car. But no, it's good. I like Alex Warren. But where are you at? I see we have viewers. So why aren't you guys talking? Hello.
Yeah, nobody's comment in the chat. I'm gonna hit the thumbs up. I hit the share.
Dude.
Looks like I'm number 3. So a couple of people hit it. They just came in and dive bombed the thumbs up button and took off.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Then the other thing that kind of the main thing that was really kind of top of mind for me, because I was teaching ACL Academy. It was my group coaching call, so people get to come on and bring like situations during the game or mindset things, and we go through them. And somebody asked about imposter syndrome, and somebody asked that they asked about not having confidence in game time situations, like when the pressure's on. And it made me think back to my very first news segment. So I had booked a news segment. And it's kind of one of those things, I don't know about other people's personalities, but my personality is I kind of know what the next step is to get where I want to go. And I don't necessarily think through that next step. I just know I need to take it, and I just do it relentlessly until it happens. So then when I actually get the thing that I like tried really hard to get, that's when I'm like, oh shit, like now I have to actually do this thing, right? So I knew that I needed to get into media. This was years ago when I published my second book. I'm like, I need to start doing media. So I knew I had to get on the news. And so I found a media coach. I took her media course. I followed every step, and I pitched a bunch of producers, and I booked myself on 3 news segments. And I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, I did it. But now I have to go do live television, something I have absolutely no experience in. And I didn't give myself enough time to think through it, to talk myself out of whether or not I even have the skills to do it, right? It was like, you just like, oh, next step, here we go. So anyways, fast forward to the very first news segment. I'm sitting in the green room, and this is that moment that people are asking me about, like right before you're about to perform, when all the self-doubt and the like, what am I doing? And can I do this? And all that stuff starts coming in. And it was that moment that I didn't do this consciously, but the self-talk in that moment for me is reminding myself of all the reasons why I'm ready for this moment. So I'll say things like, you're the expert on this topic. You know this book back and forward. You could handle any question that they're giving to you. You've been performing your whole life. You're more comfortable on a stage than anywhere. Like I have to like literally just pepper all these thoughts of like why I'm ready for this moment that I technically have zero experience in. Completely no experience. And the same thing happened with sideline reporting. I was like, man, I should be a sideline reporter. I could do that job. I should do that. And then I asked ACL, and they're like, yeah, you're going to do it at Spencer McKenzie's. And I was like, oh shit. Like, here I am again.
I mean, you got to think that that's how everything started. At one point, nobody had any experience of what they were doing. They just did it. And, through doing the actual thing, you learn different ways to do it, and then you learn what works and what doesn't work. So
yeah, but in front of an audience.
Yeah, I would say, unfortunately, in your situation, you have to succeed right away at it, which I think you got. All right.
Yeah, and because
what up, Angel?
Oh yeah, what's up, guys? And then, but in terms of wanting to be a performer or be in the media or be in the high pressure situations, it involves an audience, and how do you simulate that other than the moment, right? Like I can't try to practice being on live television. I have to just go on live television. Like there's no way for me to practice that. I can try. And what I do when I practice, like before sideline reporting or even before news segments, when I practice kind of the things I wanted to say, I would pretend like I was in front of the audience. I would allow myself to feel what it would feel like if I had a camera on me, eyes on me, pressure on me, no chance, no mistakes because it's live. And so I would create all that environment inside of my body and rehearse, but that's still
So you
not
have
the same.
these conversations with audience members and stuff like that, right? Do you picture them all being positive, or do you picture some of them heckling you or doing things like that? Because I remember one time just driving home, I was pretending to be a baseball announcer, and the guys that we listened to were kind of boring. So I would basically say exactly what they'd said, but like in a different accent or a different voice or something like that. And then if I were to mess up and stumble or something, I would then do a different voice and heckle myself. And I'd have these like fake interactions. This is how my childhood went. I would have my own fake friends. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't always positive in that aspect. So I mean, does that help, or is it just completely off the wall crazy?
No, I don't think it's off the wall crazy. It's not what I did because I was rehearsing. Like, think about what I was doing as more of like repping, right? So, like, if you're talking about cornhole, if I'm prepping for a cornhole big moment, you would be out there and you'd be repping like the same exact motion, the same exact way, picturing everybody looking at you, picturing the lights, picturing the broadcasters and all the stuff. And you're just repping. So I was in that moment before these high pressure situations. I'm repping basically what I'm going to say. And I'm trying to simulate the pressure inside of my body so that that the state I'm rehearsing in is essentially the closest to the state that I would actually be in versus trying to rehearse. And it's like, you're like, yeah, really like looking down at my notes all the time. Like I can't look at my notes when I'm on live TV. That's not an option. So like I have to practice that way. So that's kind of more what it was like. And in sports, all top athletes will tell you that they always rep, like they visualize themselves doing those big moments, and they visualize it with imagining the audience and the stakes and everything around it. And that is mental rehearsing is a huge part of performance. And I was doing that, but I didn't know, I wasn't like consciously like, oh, I'm mentally rehearsing my reps or like I'm trying. So it creates confidence though, because you're getting more reps in. So you're always going to feel better when you're actually practicing, rehearsing, repping what you need to do. But it was also that self-talk that I would tell myself, you were made for this moment. Even if there's no evidence, there's no like nothing because of course, if you're doing something you've done a million times, it's like, you're going to feel pretty confident in your ability to do it. But when you're trying new things on, you have to give yourself. And I have an opportunity to do that this weekend. So I'm really going to be stretching this for myself.
Let me ask you this. Is there a certain type of person that can just bypass all of that and then fall into it naturally? Because as you're talking and explaining this, I'm reminded of, I don't know if it's his first or second year pitching, but Paul Skeens, I don't know if you know who he is, dating Livy Dunn, and he's a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's on Team USA, and he just pitched to get the United States to the championship of the World Baseball Classic. And they interviewed him, and they asked him, you know, what does this moment mean to you, or how does it feel, or anything like that? And he's just like, I mean, I don't know, it was just another game. It was just like every other game. And he actually won Rookie of the Year, and you know, he's getting his award. His girlfriend's cheering, and he's just sitting there like, all right, thank you. You know, let's get this over with or whatever. So is there a certain type of person that can just bypass all this type of nervousness and repetitions and just come out, I guess, a prodigy, if you will?
No, he's doing essentially what Mark Richards does. And Mark Richards is not going to allow emotions until the job is completely done, is what I'm gathering. So it's like, if you ask Mark in the semifinals, like, hey, you know, you won this game, you're on to the finals, like, you know, how are you feeling? And he's going to be that exact way. He's going to be like, I'm good. I'm just going to stay focused. I'm going to do the thing. And there's zero emotion. He's not like, I did it or anything. There's no fist bump. It is literally just go to the next step. And it's not until he wins the whole thing that you see the emotion.
Yeah. I remember whenever he kind of first developed this, I guess, quiet persona on the court. And then he really kind of took himself seriously. He said he wanted to be the best player in the world, not miss a single bag on TV. And then he did it. And then I interviewed him one time and I said, if you end up winning the most titles, are you worried about somebody catching up to you? He said, no, once I win it, nobody's going to catch up to me. I'm not going to let off the gas. And I thought it was kind of weird whenever he finally let out the emotion afterwards, because it almost didn't seem like that was the real him at that point. So the alternate persona following the repetitions, as Cito was saying in the chat, just, I don't know, it's a good way to kind of recreate yourself.
Yeah, and it's tough because I do believe that suppressing emotions can be damaging. If you're feeling something and you're trying to not feel something, that's not going to work. But my guess, if we were to be able to like take a look inside Mark Burchard's psyche or whatever, like his emotional world, I don't think he's getting that too excited. Truly, I don't think he's suppressing the excitement. I think his mindset, and because of the way he thinks about his job and sports and performances, I'm not there yet. Like, it's just truly like there's no excitement. There shouldn't be excitement here. And it's not him suppressing the emotion, but just literally not having it yet. It's just like, okay, next step. And if he didn't celebrate at the end, I would be concerned, because I'm like, hey, you got to celebrate your moments, because who knows how long we're doing this thing. But he does when he finally gets to those, whatever he's defined as the end, he gets it and he celebrates. And I would assume with this pitcher that if you were to ask him like what his regimen is, it'd be extremely rigid and strict, and he's grinding, and then he's just not going to let off the gas until the job is fully done.
Yeah, it's funny too, because some of the top athletes that I think of, Matt Stafford for the LA Rams, he's another one. I guess I'm trying to say is like they're so opposite with his spouses, because they're in the social media, they're so out there and extraordinary, and then these guys, they want nothing to do with it. They just want to go out there, perform their business, and turn around and go home. But the amount of work that people put into it, and you can tell the passion that goes into it ahead of time, it results on the field, and it shows exactly where their passion is. And that's the thing that I think is the hardest for me, is I can go through the repetitions, I could practice all day long, I could explain to myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, but keeping the passion at a certain level for that long period of time is what's hard for me.
Like keeping the passion because you're moving.
Oh, because I get results based. If it's success all the time, then I kind of look at it like, all right, now what? What's the next level? I feel like I'm always going to be chasing something. And if it's not success, if there's a little bit of failure, then now I have the doubt, or as you said earlier, the imposter syndrome kick in. Now I'm doubting myself if I even deserve to be in this position or see this spotlight. So it's like, I don't know if that's something internal that I need to work on, but it doesn't seem like there's any amount of repetitions that can get away with the one desire to want more. And then the other side of the coin is to fulfill, what I view as success.
I don't think desire for more is necessarily a problem. It's only a problem if you make your present moment less than because of what you desire. So it's like, you can say, I desire, like, I want my own reality show. I actually want my own reality network. Okay. That is somewhere in my vision board somewhere. I don't have any, it's not coming right now, right? It's not like I'm talking to producers. It's not like I'm in the works. Mm-hmm. So it is somewhere, it's something I'm holding in my mind as what I think is my inevitable future, but it's not something that's currently manifesting in this moment. But I'm not shitting all over my current state either, right? Like, I'm still like, and this is cool. So what was that?
It's all a piece of the journey and a process.
The journey, yes. And it's and I can go as far as saying, or I guess asking myself, if that never happens, am I okay? Like, I have these visions and these dreams and these goals, and they're really important to me, and they feel like they're inevitable and part of my future. But if for some reason it never happened, can I be okay? What is the bottom line? I'm not okay with not happening. And for me, as long as I am able to help people and use what I've learned to serve at some capacity, I can be okay. Like, I'm good with that. I would not be okay if I wasn't doing that at all. So, if I was working at Walmart every day, and I didn't have any side hustle, and I wasn't doing coaching, and I wasn't doing podcasts, and I wasn't writing books, and I was just doing that day in, day out, that would, and then I had a future, a goal, a vision of this other stuff, and there was nothing in my current reality that was any way moving me towards that or allowing me to fulfill what I think is my purpose. That would be a problem.
Okay, so I guess you're never really finished. You're always looking to continue to do the same thing going forward. So, for example, if my goal was to change one person's life and then I change that person's life when I'm 20, like, all right, well, now what do I do for the rest of my life? You know what I mean?
Well, I would challenge that goal. You know what I mean? Because when, and also when we set goals, we have kind of these physical things that we want. But whenever I'm talking about goals with people, I always ask what's behind the goal, right? So why do you want that? So when I was in my 20s, and I said I wanted my own reality show since then. So from as long as I can remember, and I've been in this career path, I've wanted that. If you would have asked me back then, why do you want your own reality show? I would have had a different answer than I do today. I'm much more grounded in what this is truly about for me. And so if I look at the why, which is because I know that that is the biggest platform in which I can teach, right? So I could teach one client at a time. I could teach, a small group of 5 to 10 people. I could go on a stage and speak to a few thousand, or I can go on TV and speak to millions. So that is what it is for me. And that's what's important to me, is just being able to take the very unique things I've learned and be able to tell as many people as humanly possible. That's the drive. That's the why. And so as long as that is truly it, then it's not about the reality show, really. It's about the platform and the stage, which means that could happen in ways that I haven't even considered or thought of yet. And I'm open to that part being flexible. When I'm not negotiating is giving that information to as many people as possible in whatever way the universe wants me to do that.
So the why isn't necessarily results based.
It's always a feeling.
The why is the drive that gets you to get going, and then if you succeed or don't succeed, that doesn't really matter as much, as long as you're doing exactly what you're set out to do.
And it fulfills the needs, and when we talk about our needs, we're mostly talking about emotional needs, because I feel hollow or empty if I'm not able to teach and deliver and support and coach. I've taken breaks before, and I'll start coaching freaking everybody who's walking around me. Like, I can't help it. Like, it is just part of what I do and who I am and what makes me, that's what I think I was born to do. So I can't remove that, but I can be really open and flexible to how that is looking in real life, have visions and dreams and goals that I think is the way that it can be done and the way that I think I would like it the most, but always open to interpretation of however that, because never did I think it'd be in cornhole, right? So that wasn't the vision board.
And that's kind of the hard thing for me too, is I'm looking back at it. I'm trying to think if I've ever had like the same why, because my why has always changed in a way. So at first my why was my daughter. I wanted to raise her to be the best that she could be. And I wanted to make sure that she was a self-sustaining adult. And when she got 18 and then she was a self-sustaining adult, it was like, all right, well, I'm not really needed anymore. And, I kind of transitioned into like the cornhole, job, and I was like not really planning to do it. It just kind of happened. But then I made my why to satisfy everyone else's, desire for life feeds and stuff like that. But I guess deep down, my actual desire was to change the game, change the entire sport of cornhole. And I feel like there's still a lot left on the table as far as that desire goes, but I'm not 100% sure if that's my why. You know what I mean? So how does somebody go about narrowing in and getting laser focused on their why?
Well, the other whys you gave were about other people. So those are not truly going to be about, that's not the crux of it. That's why it's changing. So, even though my why is to serve other people, that is a selfish, right? Because that fuels me, right? So what it's really about is fueling me, right? That's what makes me feel alive and happy, and like I'm fulfilling what I was put here to do. So yes, it's about me supporting others, but it's ultimately about me. And so those whys that you mentioned were about other people. So we have to find the why that is just for you, right? That like I said, I would sit there and coach to nobody if if there was no an audience. Like I'd still just be talking to myself because I can't help it. And I remember at one point I took a break from, oh, that's right. I started working for this business coach doing sales. And I really needed money at the time. My business wasn't making a lot of money. So I took this sales job, and then that took over my time. And then I really wasn't doing the weight loss stuff anymore. There wasn't really time for it. And I was so desperate to talk about weight loss. That's how I wrote my first book, because I had so much to say and nobody to say it to. So I just started writing, and then my first book was created.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really know if I can even narrow it on a why right now, but I'm kind of doing the same thing that you're talking about, which is throw everything out there. And then hopefully I find it along the way. Like, I don't even know how many podcasts I'm doing a week right now, but I know that I'm trying to stay as busy as possible and keep my mind active. I mean, heck, we're going to do another podcast right after this one. So, yeah, hopefully something kind of sticks. But I guess if I had to guess, I'd say it's just to entertain right now.
Yeah, because that gives you what?
I mean, whenever I entertain, but it's always kind of results based, though. You know what I mean? Like it's this kind of a quiet chat right now, so I feel kind of down. If Cito's doing everything he can to pipe us up a little bit, so I appreciate that. But it's hard for me to get away from being results based because I want to be successful and I want people to enjoy everything. But again, these are more outward focuses. They're not necessarily internal about what I need.
But why do you want that? What does that give you?
I feel like it makes me feel important to other people. Again, I just feel like I'm so alone. My biggest fears is being alone, and I feel like if I entertain, then that means that people are connecting to me, and I'm not alone that way. But as we discovered, the reason I walked away is because even though I had so many followers and friends, it still wasn't registering.
Yeah. So what you're really wanting is connection, and that there's false connection that happens in social media and in fame. You talk to a lot of famous people and they'll say, I have all these fans and I feel more alone than ever because none of these people really know me. They're not like picking me up if I go to jail, and they're not like, they don't know, what I want for dinner tomorrow night. Like there's not that true intimate connection. And as humans, we crave real true connection. And that type of, so there's like all these different kinds of connection. By the way, this is what my book coming out next month is all about. It's all about connection. But you have like your intimate circle, you have to have that. And this is actually what happened when we were filming From Couch to Cornhole. So the contestant, Corey, he had like a handful of friends, like 2, 3, like really close friends. And he said that's the only time he really feels like he can just be. Like if he's around big groups of people, he feels really socially awkward. He doesn't know what to say. He's afraid they're not going to think what he has to say is interesting, and he has a really hard time. But with this 3 people, for example, he doesn't have that problem. And so his thought was, that's all I need, right? As long as I have that connection with those 3 people and 3 people know me intimately, then I'm fine. So then fast forward to the cornhole tournament at the end of the From Couch to Cornhole series, when he has to, do his last tournament thing after he practiced for 21 days. And after the tournament, he messaged me and said, that was so much fun. I didn't know how much I needed that. And so that's another type of connection. That's community. And you have to have both. You have to have community, and then you have to have intimate relationships, not meaning romantic, but just intimacy.
Sure.
And intimacy also means that you're having, because I know you talk to Nick on the phone, you talk to your friends on the phone and stuff, but you have to have those intimate connections in your own areas, meaning you're somebody's thought when it comes to plans, right? So on a Friday night, you need to be someone's first thought. That type of connection is so crucial, because otherwise it's like, you just feel like no one ever thinks about you, and you're like, yeah, I have friends, but they're all in different states. Like, it's not like we can hang out, but like, are you anyone's go-to person? And if you're not, that's going to be a really empty connection.
So that is hitting the nail right on the head right there. I think the last time that I actually had a best friend or somebody that would reach out was probably my buddy Dan Nelson. man, probably 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And ever since then, it's always been, or hey, we need one more for golf. Call Wally, or you know what I mean? Or you think Wally will be at this tournament? You know what I mean? I was always in addition to someone else's plans, but I was never anyone's first thought. So I think that's the biggest problem that I've had, which is why I've kind of ran away from cornhole and even ran out here to Vegas and just left it all behind, is because there really wasn't that first thought from anyone.
But you're not going to be that person unless you are vulnerable with people enough that you can connect on a more intimate basis. So, like, I have friends that I see all the time, especially with cornhole and stuff, but I don't necessarily feel like intimately close with them as friends because I'm an open book and I'll talk about anything just like you. You're like, I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything, but they're not like that. And they're a little bit guarded and they're sweet and they're lovely and they're incredible people. And I think that think the world of them, but they're not letting me in. So they're just not going to be. So I will think of them in groups. Like if we're like getting the girls together, oh, invite this person, invite this person. But who I want to spend my time with when I think of, okay, I have a night that's free besides my husband is going to be a certain type of person. And it's the person that I'm vulnerable and intimate with, right? Like, once again, not romantic, just someone that completely I can just be myself. I'm their first thought. They're my first thought. We don't have to like wonder if we're each other's first thought. Like it's just known. It's like, oh, it's best friend Friday. So what time are you? What are we having for dinner? It's just like it's just an automatic thing. And obviously this comes with having a romantic partner, I would hope as well. Hopefully you're their first thought. But then sometimes we put too much emphasis on needing that romantic partner when really a friendship can fulfill that connection potentially even more and maybe be what you really need. But it takes that. You've got to be vulnerable. They've got to be vulnerable. You guys have to click in a way that's like, oh, we're each other's person, whether that's friendship or romance.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing too. And I want to ask a question at the end of it, because I was kind of reconnecting, I guess, with one of my exes. She lives in an entirely different state. And there was like a 2-week period where, we get off work, we text each other, call each other right away. And we had, recaps of how our day was going, or if there's an issue that came up, we wanted to talk to that person first about it. But then whenever another person got introduced or something changed and it kind of went away, then that void kicked in again. And it was almost like a reset. So as someone like me who has a clean slate with no real connections, how can I go about not latching on to the first thing that feels like I might be getting that connection?
I mean, I think try everything on, right? So like when I moved to Orville from or even when I moved from Huntington Beach to Paradise, it was Nick's town. So he had all his high school friends and I knew absolutely nobody. And but I'm the type of person that I know how important it is to have that person, one or two people that you're like, I'm their person and vice versa. So every setting I was in, I was like looking and trying on that person's. Like I was go to the gym and I do yoga and I'd be like, okay, this person seems cool. So I'd be like, hey, like, you want to grab some tea or whatever. And I would like, it's like dating, right? You're like, you want to go on a date? and then we'd hang out a couple times and then I'd feel them out. And then if they seemed cool, I'd keep going. And if not, I would end it. So it's like, what's that phrase? It's like hire slow, fire fast. I think that fits here. Like you're hiring slow. You're like, I'm trying you on. You're on an intern basis. We're feeling this out, and then as soon as there's a red flag, it's like, and you're fired, and that's over. We're not going to do this anymore. I guess there's one girl I remember back when I worked at the gym when I first moved to Paradise, and she seemed cool. We got along. We both worked at the gym together, and she was younger than me. But I invited her over, and then one time she was like, oh, well, let me see what so-and-so is doing, and then I'll let you know. And I was like, ew, she's literally waiting to see if she gets a better option. This is officially over. Like, I'm not going to be treated like that. I am cool people. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part, is seeing, I guess, what everybody else sees in yourself. Or I don't know if I said that right. Seeing what everybody else sees in you, because on the outside, it seems like everybody loves me. You know what I mean? But how do I get their vision of me? Because I always have the doubt that creeps in. I'm always like, even the guys I played with golf this last weekend, I had a great time with the two guys. They are actually part of the cornhole world, so we got teamed up in a little group together. But then, like, one guy that I was hoping to connect to actually canceled out of the group. So we're supposed to be a foursome, and then he didn't show up, so now he's a threesome. So now I'm sitting here looking at, like, man, this guy did everything possible to avoid me. Like, he backed out of this whole group.
How do you have anything to do with you? What?
He probably did. He probably got in an accident, couldn't make it or something.
Oh my God.
I spun it about me somehow, where I'm like, oh man, nobody wants to be around me right now. But I had a great time. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of like get out there and just start dating different groups and start doing different things and just kind of, I guess not being afraid to get out of my comfort zone.
You have to be vulnerable because you have to ask people out in a sense, right? Like if you're golfing together, if you're playing cornhole together, those are those specific settings. And it's tough. Like, okay, I remember it was when we moved to Orville and I had no friends. And I was going to this hip hop dance class and the instructor seemed so cool. And we're about the same age, young kids. And I was like, I'm thinking, this girl's my girl. Like, we're going to vibe. And so I was like, hey, do you ever want to like grab a glass of wine together? And she was like, I don't really drink. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it could be like tea or whatever. And she's like, I don't really do friends. And I'm like, okay. Like, just like, okay, heard.
Gosh, it reminds me of that dating like online dating matchmaker or whatever, you know what I mean? You would actually go there and you'd have an in-person interview and then other people would go there and the matchmaker would set you up. But I was like, number one priority for me, sports. Like, she's got to like sports. My ex-wife didn't like sports. I don't even know how we stayed together for 7 years. And I remember going on this date with this one girl and we're sitting there and she looks like, I think I even told you about her before. She looks like Big Bang Theory. Sheldon's girlfriend.
Yeah, you did tell me. Amy Fowler.
Yeah, and she's got this stethoscope or whatever. She's a pediatrician. She's so uptight. She wasn't drinking. She was ordering something way off the menu I never would. And then I was talking to her. I was like, oh, so you want to, you can catch a baseball game or a hockey game? Or she's like, oh, I can't stand sports. Just the competitiveness bothers me. I'm like, number one on my list, you know what I mean? And then
how did we get here?
That was the only time in my entire life where I put the gentleman aside and I said, all right, so we're splitting the check and just going to go our separate ways, right?
This ain't happening.
We spent the rest of our date trying to talk about who we should hook each other up with. Like, is there anyone in your life that, would naturally stuff? So, yeah, we gave 1 star after that one for sure.
Oh my goodness.
It does remind me.
That's a good example. Well, you lived, right? Like, you went on the date. It wasn't what you needed. You lived. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it reminds me of Andy Frisella and the 75 Hard program that I was in. Basically, whenever you're reading that book, one of the main things that they're trying to get you to do with 75 Hard is put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, because that's where you're going to thrive the most. Like, once you complete the 75 days, like drinking water is not hard at all. Drinking a gallon of water a day, that's hard, because one, you have to plan for it. You have to plan the second you wake up till you finish your 1 gallon of water, that it's something that mentally you have to prepare yourself for. But it's not something you would normally do. Nobody wants to go to the bathroom 4 or 5 times a day. So that's kind of uncomfortable. And then once you complete the 75 days, the next part of this program called Live Hard, you have to basically sit in a cold shower and take a cold shower, like super cold. And that's not a comfortable situation. But the whole point is it's a mental challenge. People think of 75 Hard as a physical challenge, but if you put yourself in uncomfortable situations and you mentally prepare yourself to handle those situations, you come out better in the end. So
I'm going to challenge it a little bit. Okay, because I've read Dave Goggins' books, and he's like pretty much the guy on mental toughness, right?
For sure.
And as much as I admire him and find it inspiring, something always felt off. And then I remember I was scrolling on Instagram or something, and someone brought up the Dave Goggins stuff, and he's like, he's not the master of mental toughness, he's the master of suffering. And that's when I was like, that's why it bothers me. You don't have to suffer for change. You have to be uncomfortable, but you don't have to suffer. And he is someone that almost died because he didn't stretch. So like in terms of really embracing suffering, it almost killed him how much he was willing to suffer. And I would be willing to unpack that with him if he would like, because there's more there.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what you said either last week or the first week, is that it's about balance, right? Like, I'm not saying take the uncomfortableness to that extreme, because Goggins is another world. Some of what he's got in his book is very, very inspiring. Other stuff is just kind of crazy. Like, I don't understand how you could push yourself to that point.
Or why.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I guess wanting to be the best. What's up, Trish? Welcome in. I guess wanting to be the best, but that just takes over to too far of an extreme for me. But I think what I'm getting out of all of this, though, and what I'm trying to get across, is that the willingness to put myself in an uncomfortable situation is something I haven't done in a while. And I need to probably just go walk Fremont Street and just straight up go up to people and be like, hey, you look like you're cool.
I don't know if Fremont Street's the place.
All types of people on Fremont Street. The guy it's got to be my best friend.
But look, I mean, I meet people at the airport all the time, and there's I can on the airplane. Like, if you connect with someone, the key is if you connect with someone, that doesn't happen all the time. So if it happens, you need to go for it. In whatever capacity that is, even if it's as simple as like, oh, hey, like, what's your Instagram handle? It's like, and you can make an excuse. Like, I want to send you this reel that I think you would like based on this conversation. I don't know. You can make something up, but like, you have to make connections in order to build intimate connections, because out of all the people I know in the world, the people that I'm intimately connected to is a very small number. So if you're looking at a numbers game, you have to keep trying to connect over and over and over until you find the one that you're like, oh, this is my person. Not one. I don't mean to make it sound like it's one person, but the people, the very small, intimate circle. You had community. You had a large community, an amazing community, right? You have distant friends. You have a lot of people that you know that you can call and then they're there, but they're not, you can't say, do you want to have dinner Friday night? So it's like, you have to like chunk it down. And then I know other people, like I was giving the example with Corey from Couch to Cornhole, where he has that small intimate, but he doesn't have the community, and he wasn't there. He wasn't the guy they called for Friday night either. Right? He didn't have that. I was like, he's not doing anything on the weekends. Nobody's calling him. No one's inviting him anywhere. And as much as you think like, I'm okay, that's needed. You need to be in someone's circle. So where they're like, hey, like, what are you doing this weekend? And that kind of thing. And that, otherwise you're missing out.
Yeah. That's the one thing I've been looking for years. I mean, we got a bunch of people that pop in and out of the chat and stuff. I definitely miss hanging out with them and miss talking to them and stuff like that. But yeah, there was really never like a close, super connection in there. What up, Shane?
We had it when we were together, right? Like when we were traveling together. Yeah, exactly. But really quick, one thing that I wanted to touch on that you talked about when we were talking about Dave Goggins and the suffering thing, and the reason why it rubs me such the wrong way is because my number one priority for connection is with my body. And when you are pushing the body to the degree that he was recommending, you are abusing the body. You are asking the body to work so freaking hard for you, and you're not doing anything for it. So while you think, oh, but I'm giving it exercise and I'm giving it more water and I'm giving it healthy food, and like, no, you are forcing it and pushing it to perform all day. Like, what, body, you have to intake all this water. Body, you have to suffer through this workout. Body, you have to eat less food than you want. And that is where I have such a big problem with all these like no pain, no gain, blood, sweat, tears, 75 hard, David Guns. No, your body has to be priority, and you have to befriend it and support it and nurture it and take care of it. And that means you can't push it beyond its ability to be peaceful and happy.
Yeah, so we went back and forth on that challenge quite a bit, because I know you didn't like that I was doing it. I was on it. But the one thing that I liked about it was that it was a checklist type thing, So how can we combine both these worlds, where I listen to Meesh and I listen to Andy Frisella's 75 Hard, and I complete a checklist, I guess, of sorts, but I also get in touch with my body in a way.
Well, then you need embodiment tasks that you're checking off your list, as opposed to tasks that make you ignore the body and ask it to perform. So that could be meditation. That could be having a meal at the table and setting the candles and the music and the taking a breath between every bite. It could be taking one of your tasks of the day and single tasking. So like when I do the dishes today, I'm just going to take my time and feel the hot water and notice the plates, and I'm not going to think about anything else, and I'm not going to put a podcast. I'm going to do one thing. I love the shower. Feel the warm water. Let it like literally feel it on your skin. If you're sitting in a chair, notice the contact of your body on the chair. Like you can actually feel it. So embodiment is literally just getting so present in the body that you aren't in your head. And there's so many ways you can practice that. And if that is what your checklist is to check into the body, then you will thrive literally everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. You sent me that body scan thing too. I did that one day and I liked it. I don't know why I didn't keep it up.
Right. Because we don't see, because if you say to someone, oh my God, I worked out, 45 minutes, the hardest workout of my life, I drank a gallon of water. Everyone's like, wow, great job. Like you're doing the thing, right? But if you're like, I washed the dishes and did nothing else and was totally present, they're like, and? Why? What do you want, a trophy?
Yeah, I guess the next thing that I need to do is to kind of allow more time for all of this stuff, because for me lately it's been wake up, turn off the alarm, go do the laundry or the dishes real quick, read the Bible, take a shower, go to work. Like it's all just a blur. And then I look back and I'm like, all right, I already accomplished this and this and this, but like there was really no satisfaction as I accomplished any of that stuff.
Because you're present, right? This is the same thing as when I was a personal trainer. I didn't necessarily care how hard you worked. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be easy, but what was more important to me when I was working out with people is that they were actually aware of the muscle that was doing the movement. Like if you're doing a leg press, can you actually feel the muscles that are pushing the plate up? And if you can't, then we're wasting our time, because this is supposed to be a way to become embodied and be friends with your body.
Yeah, I remember there was one TikTok trainer that I followed for a little bit, and it was basically 5 slower reps can go a lot further than 20 heavy reps or something like that, because you're focusing on it, you're feeling it the entire way. So that does compute. It makes a lot of sense.
It's more effective, yes, for 100%. It's a big part of how yoga works. If you take a yoga class, it's constant reminders of firing certain muscles, small muscles. So if you're holding your arms up, they don't just say like, put your arms out. It's like they're telling you every single part that you're supposed to be engaging as your arms are up. And so you have no choice but to be present when you take yoga, because you have to focus on breathing. You have to focus on firing every muscle group that they tell you to, and you have to focus on alignment and posture. So that's why I'm such a big fan of yoga, because I don't know how you could not do it mindfully. It would be so hard to start going off in other places, because you can't just mindfully push weights around. It's like you're doing things with balance and stability and core, and it's firing 75 of these tiny stabilizer muscles, and it's like you're like, this is a lot.
I remember I messaged you after I tried it. I was like, I did yoga today. I sucked at it.
Yeah, it's really freaking hard.
Breathe. I completely underestimated it.
But the mindful movement is what's most important. So if you're pushing through your workouts, or you're getting through them, or you're suffering through them, then you're not actually getting the benefit of the workout in terms of the efficiency of it, but also you're creating a disconnection with the body. Every time you ignore the body, you're creating disconnection. So we have to be able to, everything we do has to be able to bring us closer and more connected to our bodies. And so that means if we're choosing exercises, if we absolutely hate it and we're just getting through it, we're not benefiting the body the way we think we are. And yes, I know people like love endurance training and that kind of thing, but they're getting something incredibly valuable from that type of thing. And that's what they're getting from it. And they're like, I love it. So I'm not talking about people that do ultra marathons and triathlons. Like they love it. I'm talking about people that do that and hate it.
Yeah. I can imagine that, but I can't imagine you putting I guess that's the whole David Goggins thing. You're putting yourself to the point where you just I guess, checking a box like I would do. You're completing the task. Yes, I finished the marathon, but I didn't get anything out of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel like it all starts with planning a little bit better and allowing time, at least for me, this is what I need to do. Plan it a little bit better and allow myself time to, I guess, think of the task that I'm doing and enjoy every second of it. Because right now it is all just going through the motions.
I could give you a simpler starting point.
Okay. I'm
Every
down.
hour, set your alarm. Well, during the day, obviously. Every hour you're awake, set the alarm to go off and have it just say 5 deep breaths. That's
Okay.
your first task. Take 5 deep breaths every hour. I mean, conscious,
Meditation breaths.
just 5 deep breaths. That's it. That's step 1 of slowing down.
Okay. I could probably do that.
You should be able to do that if you drink a gallon of water.
I could probably do that one. Look at Trish's daughter. This is awesome.
Yay, puppy yoga. Oh my
Puppy
goodness.
yoga. I feel like that could be great and bad at the same time.
I love all the yogas, except I heard on the radio they're doing snake yoga, and that's where I'm out. But I've done paddleboarding yoga. That one was so cool. You do yoga out on a paddleboard on the water. I've done puppy yoga. I haven't done goat yoga, but I would do goat yoga. I love all the yoga.
I'm just worried about the animals. Like anytime you work with animals, it's potential to have a natural evacuation that this is bad timing. I just feel like if I'm sitting there and I'm meditating and I'm like, man, this is what Meesh was talking about. I'm at peace and I get shit on. I'm just going to be so against finding my Zen moment ever again.
Well, puppy yoga is not going to be when you're embodied because there's way too much going on. So that's probably not going to happen. That's going to be just you being.
You'd have to be.
It is literally just pure elation. It's like when I used to live in Huntington Beach, we lived a walking distance to the dog beach, and I would just walk that dog beach just smiling as I'm watching the dogs frolicking in the ocean and the sand. Like it was just pure happiness. Exactly, Trish. I was just like, this is heaven. I don't even need to go down there and interact with them. I just want to watch them as I go by because they're just the happiest they've ever been. And I just felt honored to be able to witness their happiness. And that's all I cared about. So that kind of yoga is different. That is like a fun thing to do, but yoga for me is my sanctuary. It is what I do to be embodied and like, have you ever felt, okay, do you like massages?
Love.
Okay. How do you feel after a massage? How would you describe it?
I would feel, I guess, relaxed is the first word that comes to mind. I almost look for the areas that still hurt, if that makes sense.
Cool.
You missed a spot type thing.
Like, have you felt that like tingling, floating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was gonna say the first thing that comes to mind is relax. Like whenever I open my eyes, doesn't matter if I'm on my stomach or my back, but whenever I open my eyes, there's that almost like blotchy, can't really see the environment coming into picture. And I kind of feel like I almost get that all the way down. You know what I mean? It starts at the eyes and then just escapes.
Okay. So that feeling minus the initial sleepiness, because I know when you come off a massage, it's like you're kind of sleepy and groggy. Although a really good yoga class will do that too. You'll come out like, I'm like, oh, I can't drive. I'm like way too zen out right now. But that state that you feel when your body's kind of tingly and you're like, and you're not tired, but relaxed, which is a very different thing. That is embodiment. That's what it feels like to be embodied. So you're looking to create situations in which you feel that as much as humanly possible. So that can come as simply as taking some deep breaths. It's a lot of slowing down. It's a lot of solo tasking, but you're trying to elicit that state of floaty kind of lightness where you're not thinking. Because well, besides you checking your body for tension or pain, it's really hard to be in your brain right after a massage. Like you're just like, your body is having so much sensation that you're just like, whoa. So that's what you want. Like being in your body is being in your senses. Like you're so hyper aware of your senses And that is the state in which you're actually supposed to be living the majority of your life in. And you're only supposed to pop out of it into your head when you're like doing some kind of cognitive task. And then you're theoretically supposed to come right back into that really good, relaxing, embodied state. And that is where we're supposed to be living all the time.
All the time? Wow.
Yeah. That's
I'll
it.
be shocked if that ever happens.
It's like impossible in our culture, but yes, that's why my goal is just to tap into that as much as possible throughout the day. And like that means that I'm choosing a yoga class over running, right? Because I can't get that feeling from running personally, but some people can. And that is when I'm choosing a really good Peloton spin class with a playlist that I'm excited about, because I get so excited about that, and that gives me that feeling. But if I'm like super tired and like I didn't get a lot of sleep and I'm feeling half asleep, I don't go for the spin class that day. I go for the yin restorative class that day because I know my body is not there at that moment, and I'm not going to force it to do something in which it's not prepared to do. I'm going to support it and nurture it. And in right now, what it needs is this, not this.
I feel like that's why I've gone to so many cornhole tournaments, and I've just immediately wanted to get the worst partner there and go 0-2, just because I had this plan. I was super excited to go to this cornhole tournament. I see my friends, I get my bucket of beer, I go sit down, and then once I get done warming up, I'm just like, I am so tired. I don't want to be here. This is not fun anymore. And I probably never should have went to begin with, because it was just too much on the plate, too much mental exhaustion. Even like the mindset that I'm in right now, like I said, I'm having fun doing this podcast. I know I got to do another one after this, but it's just like at some point I am going to need to take those 5 deep breaths. And I picture myself doing it tomorrow at work, and in the middle of breath number 3, the boss comes around the corner and stops me or something. But no.
Well, then you snooze it. Then you snooze it and do it and start it over as soon as that conversation's over, which you'll probably need it even more. But make it a non-negotiable. Commit to yourself to do that and start there. And it's a non-negotiable, meaning if it gets interrupted, then as soon as that interruption's over, you have to return to that first before anything else.
Right. Yeah. No, the pain is only temporary. It's going to eventually be me by myself again. So I'm just making excuses here, but something I'll definitely implement tomorrow for sure.
And that, like, the excuses is you're talking through your patterns. I think that it's healthy to do that, so you kind of know things that could derail you, and it's good to talk them through. So
yeah, and I think I'm going to do it first thing too when I wake up, instead of coming to the computer, going to the task list right away. I think I'm just going to go sit outside on the porch real quick and just kind of listen to the environment. Because it is one thing I love about out here is the mornings are that much more beautiful. The weather's that much more calm and relaxing, and I think that'd be a perfect time to start.
It's the best way to start your day. I do meditations a lot of times in the morning because you naturally are coming into that kind of relaxed state when you wake up. So you're just kind of maintaining that state for a little bit longer in an awake state. So you're like, oh, I feel that kind of tingly, like, oh, I'm relaxed. And so if I do something equally relaxing, I start my day with chamomile tea, which I know is weird. That's like most people do that before bed. I'm trying to create that relaxed state as long as humanly possible before I get to my computer and everything goes awry.
Gosh, I need to work from home. I miss working from home. That's the one thing that
I love
had
it.
so much time to kind of just, I guess, manage my time a lot better, really. Like I would have a task, I would do that task, I would go reset, and I'd come back and tackle it. And I felt like mentally I was a lot better because I was able, I guess, even though I wasn't meditating, I was allowing myself that reset in between each moment.
Yeah, the pacing was better.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jay? So Trish said Jay and her are planning the championship game right now. That's awesome.
She better be throwing them K9 unit BGs.
There you go.
Yeah, those things like tissue paper. Appreciate that, Susie. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, we're gonna have Jay on with us next week, so looking forward to that.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. But this is hopefully a helpful conversation for everybody. There's nothing more important to me than embodiment. So anytime I can talk about it, and everybody do what Wally's doing. Who's committing to take a deep breath, 5 deep breaths every hour? Let's see if you have
homework assignment. We got 10 people right now. We need 50 breaths per hour in the next week. So
5 breaths every hour. not that difficult to do. I mean, back when I would have a lot of weight loss clients, I would just tell them to take a breath after every bite, and it would be, and I'd be like, I can't believe how much lighter I feel and how much less food I'm eating. And I weighed myself and I weigh less. And it's like, yeah, breathing. It's an amazing thing. Oxygen. So yeah, commit to it. And then I'll look forward to what everyone thinks next week because it's a helpful task.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And get here earlier, guys. Come on. We had a lot of downtime at the beginning. I didn't like that very much.
Right? All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I will be in Kansas City if you're going to be there. So I'll be there. Oh, and the whole thing I forgot to say. So I'm the color commentator for the team's finals with Jeff McCarriger on ESPN2. So it's my first linear broadcast ever.
Let's go, Meesh.
Yeah. So I'm excited and very nervous because I said, what am I doing on linear television? I literally say movie quotes and read the chat. Like I have no business being in this position.
Go through the reps. You got this, Meesh. You should be all right.
Yeah, so I'll have fun with it. All right, guys. Until then, everyone enjoy your weeks and we'll see you next time.
See you.